When I say the word meditation, what comes to your mind? Depending on your age, cultural background, and traditions, the meaning you attach to the word meditation might vary greatly from someone else's meaning. You may picture a spiritual practice, a relaxation technique, a mindfulness exercise, or something completely unfamiliar that makes you suspicious. And rightfully so. Many movements have laid claim to the idea of meditation across history. There are cave drawings in India, reportedly thousands of years old, depicting people sitting on the ground with their legs crossed in front of them and their eyes half shut. Archaeologists have concluded that the figures are meditating. Then there are the Vedas, a large body of Hindu texts which are dated around 1500 BC as the first written mention of meditation. But what if I told you that Genesis 24 records Isaac, one of the forefathers of biblical faith, meditating at the time his future wife, Rebekah, arrives? Those events took place in 2026 BC, at least 500 years earlier than any other written mention. Then later, at around 1406 BC, God commissions Joshua to lead the nation of Israel into the Promised Land. And as part of his instructions, God tells Joshua to meditate. No matter what your assumptions are about meditation, stick around. For the next few minutes, we're going to unpack this loaded concept historically, culturally, and biblically. What I hope you discover is when meditation is applied in its biblical context, there's nothing to fear or be skeptical about. In fact, you may find it to be something to embrace that will enrich your faith and life. Historically, meditation is found in most major religions, including Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Taoism. The earliest practicing monks defined meditation as focused concentration on God. But by the 1930s, American behavioral scientists began researching the psychological benefits of meditation, which led to the study of transcendental meditation and mindfulness over the next several decades, for the purpose of stress reduction and therapy techniques. This shift demonstrates what often happens. Focus gets diverted away from the creator onto the creation instead. It's true that science has observed physical, emotional, and psychological benefits of meditation. Passages in both the Old and New Testaments help us understand why. The biblical definition of meditate is literally to care for. There's also connotations of attending to, practicing, pondering, and being diligent in. Psalm 4, a psalm of David written during a time of distress, speaks of meditation to handle anger. The writer of Hebrews speaks of warding off discouragement and fear through meditation. And Paul, in his letter to the Philippians, writes that maintaining true internal peace will come by meditating on that which is true, honorable, and praiseworthy. Paul shares why meditation has this power in 2 Corinthians 10 when he explains that we are at war with destructive and hostile ideas perpetrated by the enemy. Our weapon of war is to take those ideas captive as prisoners and turn them over to the supremacy of Christ for surrender. Just like the definition of meditate implies, this level of victory requires focused care, attention, practice, and diligence. But on what? Ourselves, our breathing, our thoughts, on a mantra, on emptying ourselves so there's nothing at all? No, this is where all the counterfeits fall short and where Christian meditation shines bright in the light of truth. The Psalms provide numerous examples of what faith-filled meditation practices look like. Psalm 1 paints an incredible picture of a person who meditates on the Word of God. It says that person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season and whose leaf does not wither. Psalm 48 talks about meditating on God's unfailing love. Psalm 77, God's mighty deeds. Psalm 119 covers all of these, plus God's promises. Finally, Psalm 63 provides the main focus, God himself. See, the key is not to empty our minds, but to direct our thoughts to focus on God and his word. It's okay to be aware of general thoughts and emotions, but our attention, our care, is centered on Christ. It's time to say, Jesus, I give you my attention and my affection. Christian author and counselor John Eldredge says, 3 meditative minutes a day spent loving Jesus will begin to heal your soul. If you diligently move beyond a surface relationship with Jesus, leave the shallows, go through the midlands to the very depths of your being, and love him, you will discover a place of hope, joy, and love. Many people seek out meditation practices as a way to cope with stress, to overcome a problem, or to retrain their brains to think more constructively. If this is you, you are in the right place. Romans 12 confirms that we are transformed by the renewing of our minds. And I invite you to continue your exploration of Christian meditation through the links provided below this video. If you take our discipleship track, you'll find 2 guided meditations as well as other great resources. Or you can simply contact us. There's a link for that too. We want to stay in contact with you and support you in your walk with or toward Christ. In keeping with the words God spoke over Joshua when he was commissioned to lead God's people into the promised land, study this book of instruction continually. Meditate on it day and night, so you will be sure to obey everything written in it. Only then will you prosper and succeed in all you do.